Okay, so we're testing this real quick just to see if we'll be able to record and move this. So give me just a second. Can you see the top? Okay, I'm going to try and move this. See if it shows it in the video later. But anyway, this is a quick video on, oops, sorry, wrong one, divorce formulas. So the divorce formula is pretty simple. We're going to be using Krishnamurti Padati or KP system. And basically, this is looking at divorce houses. So, marriage houses are generally speaking going to have a lot to do with the 7th, the 11th, also the 3rd or 2nd house. It can actually be the first as well. The first is not just a separation house, but that's more nuanced and detailed. Something that we could cover later. For now, the important part is the formula. So anyway, there's a couple steps that I've prepared here. The first is obviously looking at the houses mentioned, which is the first, sixth, and 10th. Number two, how to check if it will happen. So the way this works is most people just look at planets and houses, uh, but it's not just a sign or planet that gives the result. It's going to be the nakshatra and the nakshatra lord. In this specific system, we're using cuspal sublords. There's a whole philosophy behind it, but instead of trying to force yourself to understand like philosophical concepts, first keep in mind that your ability to find a cuspal sublord is more important first. We could always reverse engineer later, but anyway, so if a cuspal sublord strongly identifies with or indicates itself with the first, sixth, and 10th houses, divorce could be mathematically be promised. That's just how it works. The second, seventh, and 11th house will show that even if there's a lot of friction in the chart, the couple can still stay together. And then finally, we're going to look at the timing. As you know, this is largely based on dasha systems. There's a couple extras that you could throw in there, such as like a madaka or sometimes like an alternative house. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to keep this practical and we're going to just open up a chart now. So as you can see here, this is Jagannath Hora. And Jagannath Hora is cool because not only does it show a lot of stuff, such as the calculations that you would get in a Vedic astrology chart, but you could program it to display KP coordinates as well. So upon first inspection, you'll see that this is Angelina Jolie's chart. We know that she got separated first in 1997. So for the period of 1997 through 1999 is when her divorce took place. But before we get there, right, let's first identify some things. So here's the regular chart. As you know, first house, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So when you see the marriage houses, right? The only thing we have here is K2 Sun and Mercury in the 11th house. So this is already giving you a clue as to the nature of marriage and the possible outcome. But we'll get to that later. In order to actually check the real-time positions, this calculates things a little differently. You're not just seeing the astronomical positions, you're seeing them in relation to itself from multiple points. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the houses tab, and then we're going to analyze the first, the 6th, and the 10th, right? We already looked at the marriage houses, that's fine. But this is going to make a very interesting distinction here. So even though we see Venus here in the first house, where it sits in relation to different points such as the Earth or the nakshatras, etc. This is dividing it and placing Venus in the 12th house. Okay, so because it is in the 12th house, the primary houses mentioned are 1, 6, and 10, but 12 is also a separation house because in this instance it has two malefics, Sun and Ketu. Those are malefics. In marriage, a malefic can be a separator, but again, we're trying to keep this a little practical. So as you see here, the 6th house is empty, yes, but the 10th house has Jupiter. Okay, so that's already a separation house. Let's look at the KP tab now. So in the KP tab, you are now able to check things such as the nakshatra lord of something and the cuspal sublord. So the nakshatra lord of Venus here is shown to be Saturn, meaning that it's in a Saturn-ruled nakshatra, okay? And again, Saturn is in the 12th house here in the Lagna chart, and also in the KP houses, right? So that is first thing that we're going to know. Number two, okay, the 6th house has K2 and Moon, right? K2 is here in the 11th. So the marriage house has K2, a separation house. But also, as I was saying earlier, because the 6th house has an association with the moon, right, we're going to look at where moon is here, and that is in association with Mars and Jupiter. Finally, the 10th house has Mercury and Mars. So look again, Mercury in a marriage house with malefics, and then uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Mars in the 9th house with Moon. So the 6th and 10th houses are activating those planets, and they're making an association with the 7th house. So you're already getting vibes of a divorce. You're already looking at things that indicate this stuff, right? And if you want to look at it from this table, we could do that as well. I know I'm moving a little fast. We could break this down and study it closer together, but this is more for demonstration purposes and to help you apply formulas for questions such as, is this chart going to get divorced? Because a couple of people have asked me about divorce. So again, right, we look at the 6th house here, and we look at the 10th house here, and we look at the 1st house here. It's showing no planets in the 1st or 6th, but we got Jupiter in the 10th. So Jupiter's going to be a big one here. Now, let's go back to the Dasha area. And now that we've identified the houses and how the marriage and divorce houses are exchanging a lot of energy with each other, let's look at the time period now. So, in the major time period of Venus, let's go back, sorry about that. So, here are all the timelines for the chart, right? Born in 1971, cool. 1997 was the first separation. So from 1997 to 1999, that's when the separation and then ultimately the divorce happened. So as you can see here, 1995, this person entered a major time period of Venus. And Venus, again, because it shows it having an association between the 1st and 12th house, as stated earlier in the formula, the 1st house is seen as a separation house, but because of the details back here in the basics, right, the 12th house also has Venus energy. And even in KP, right, like look, 12th house, Mars, Venus. So Mars is a malefic, Venus is here in the 12th house. Cool, we get it, right? Let's go back to Dashas, and now that we have the major time period identified, let's zoom in a little bit. So if we go to Venus, 1997 is going to fall in the subperiod of Venus. So Venus is being activated twice. And then ultimately, 1997 was the start of Jupiter. Very interesting stuff here, guys. Look at that. Jupiter, 1997, and Saturn. So all the way through Jupiter. Jupiter's really mostly going to be it, but Saturn is there as well, and that's also not helping. Uh, Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, pretty easy to look at. Yes, there's multiple dashas that we could look at, but for now we're keeping things pretty basic. Let's go back here. So Venus, Jupiter is the main planet being activated in 1997 through 1999, which was the divorce period for this person. And what is Venus and Jupiter mostly showing? So look, Venus is showing the 12th house. Saturn, right? Also showing 12th house. And then where's Jupiter? 10th house. Divorce houses. So the focus here was the 10th house, which could be public life, career, karmas. 12th house has a lot to do with isolation. And if you look at here, what is the cuspal sublords and nakshatra lords of the 10th and the 12th house? Mercury and Mars, Mars and Venus. So look at that. Mars, 9th house. So there was the 9th house involved. 9th house has a lot to do with courts. So, yeah, she took him to court. And then again, the planet Venus, 1st and 12th house association. 1st house wants to be alone. 12th house, Saturn. And a lot of people leave out the Rashi sign as well, but Gemini is the sign of like copulation, couples, right? Naturally owns the 3rd house. It's the sign of the lovers. It's not the twins. I don't know why people say the twins. Pretty sure that's a big misconception in astrology. But yeah, there you go. So this was a simple formula. Obviously, there's always more things that you could look into, but this is trying to give the example of how using mathematical formulas can get very specific with answering questions such as, is there a divorce in the chart? So if you are looking at your chart and you're wondering about divorce, some people have heard from others that, oh, you're probably not going to get divorced, and then other people say, oh, you are going to get divorced, or you should get divorced. Well, this is a good way to kind of check potential timelines and if that divorce will actually happen or not. So if you have any more questions, obviously you can leave it in the comments and ask me about it. But for practical purposes, again, this was just meant to be a demonstration of a formula in regards to divorce in astrology using the Krishnamurti Padati system. So yeah, thank you for watching.